Ho, 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 it's almost Christmas, and the horsepower Santa is here. We are back again.
Back at it again with the white vans.
With another video of the world's cheapest 1,000 horsepower engine. How do you feel about it?
I feel like I'm like this piece of knock sensor seal.
How did that hang on there?
It's like hard as a rock.
Is that from overheating, as everyone else says on the internet? Everyone else, the consensus from the viewers at home is that this thing was running at 500 degrees coolant temp.
That's a far-fetched theory there, but
you were ready to throw that across the shop, weren't you? So we're about wrapped up with this. Really, the only thing we're waiting on is the pickup tube and windage tray. I ordered a H3 pan, and I didn't get the right part number. I got just the pan and not the windage tray and not the pickup tube, which both of those are probably important.
a little overrated.
Pickup is important.
Yeah.
Windage is...
Give it a McDonald's straw.
Windage is, I'd say, slightly overrated. Who needs windage trays? But, so anyways, for those of you guys that aren't around and don't know the rundown, yanked this engine out of van in a junkyard, which is a very controversial video. Everyone said that we vandalized it because we cut the harness out of it. But, dude, the car's literally going to the crusher anyways. That's here nor there. Very controversial video. Yanked this guy out of a van. It had a different water pump on there, and I think a couple different hoses going from the radiator to the water pump. So immediately everyone at home's like, boom, overheated. Boom, smoked. Terrible buy. Would never do that. Extremely skeptical with the water pump. To me, I was like, wow, that's a free truck water pump.
Yeah.
But you want to know the funniest thing? We're not even going to put a water pump on this.
No.
I probably should if I'm going to drive it on the street.
Well, yeah.
Maybe I will put a water pump. I didn't think of that.
Do like the hand crank.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. I was, God, see my mind. I was like, well, I don't even have to run a water pump now because we're going to put on alcohol for now. But really, I do need to put it on water because I want to drive it around like the block and like to Wendy's and shit.
Yeah.
So, all right.
You want a little bit of water.
All right. Well, we're going to drop that idea. So we are going to put a water pump on it. But it's going to be an electric water pump because I can't run a belt drive on this setup. Anyways, that's here nor there. So, super controversial. This thing was crusty. The heads, these are the heads that came off of it. For those of you at home that don't know the disgust that was in here.
It's bad.
It is very, very bad. Here, I'll turn my light on so you guys at home can throw up on your keyboards. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That means change your oil. Now, again, the experts at home said that is not from lack of oil change. That is from overheating.
It would have had to have gotten pretty hot to bake that oil on there
That thick.
for that amount of time and for it to be that black. This guy would have had to have literally had 4 years of driving this thing to 500 degrees.
So again, that's what everyone's saying. So I'm just repeating the comment section. Don't get mad at me. This doesn't pertain to all of you. For those of you that are saying this, you know who I'm talking about. Anyways, pulled the heads off. Every hole had a piston in it, a rod, and it was attached to a crankshaft, so we knew we were good to go. And they were all intact. They weren't in multiple pieces, which is very good. So yanked the heads off it. We washed it out with water and Red Max and cleaned it all up, sprayed it down with WD-40. Let it marinate. That is the key. You have to let it marinate for a day or two. You wrap it up in a bag, let the flavors get to know each other in the pot.
The trick is to undercook the onions. Everybody is going to get to know each other in the pot. I'm serious about this stuff.
And then we started to assemble it. Actually, I did it all in one day. So, very fast marination on this one. We sped up the process. Stock heads, the same heads that came off of it. Not the exact, but the same casting, 317 heads. The only difference, these have a valve spring put on them. They've had a valve job done, so we know that they seal up, and they've been milled. But still stock. Again, we're working with everything stock. From there, everything is used. We had the world's famous ground down camshaft. Now, this camshaft was in an engine that exploded, and it did get hit by pieces and part of the rod. But nothing a little whiz wheel couldn't fix, so we fixed it up, put it in here, took the used, definitely stretched out. God, look at that. That's a whole lot of stretch. The stretched out timing chain and cam gear to match. You know, at least they're married, so they're... Oh, God, dude, what do you look at that? That's pretty loose, isn't it?
It's normal.
It's normal. Ignorance is bliss, so we're not going to pay attention. So we put this all back in there, ground down the camshaft. It slid in there perfect, left the cam bearings. Ben had an oil pump that was locked up, but we put some assembly lube in there and we freed it up, so now that's good. I had some head gaskets that were on a motor assembled. They were like put on, but the motor was never run, so we took them off. And the motor went to the machine shop, so I had these head gaskets laying around. So pow, put them on here, good to go. And then these are the OG head bolts from the Camaro from like 6 years ago. So these things had 3 years of racing on them. They've been on the car, I think maybe only once. And now that brings us to where we are. How do you feel?
It's gonna run forever.
Forever. Like I mentioned, we're going to run the Pro Charger setup on alcohol solely for simplicity. We don't have to run any intercooler piping to the bed or back. We want to get it running. We want to drive it on the street a little bit. We want to make some noise. It's on stock rear end, so we're not going to do anything crazy with it, but we're going to have the powertrain done. And then when we put the rear end in there, when we put the other motor in there, when we put the intercooler in there, that is when we will run it on E85, run the intercooler piping all the way to the back, and be good to go. How do you feel about that? You're a fan of alcohol.
Yeah, it's easy and simple.
I have like 100 gallons of it. So we should be having plenty of driving. Also, got the Holley HP system over here, which we are running on the truck. I can't say car anymore. On the truck, we have the Holley HP system. So running on alcohol will be super simple. I got the basic stuff here, the wiring harness, screen, vehicle position sensor, and of course, the Holley HP itself. All of this stuff was used, every single part on this vehicle right now, except for the $200 ball joint drops, are secondhand, bought used, either off Turbo Bullet or traded for. So they've been on a car, they've been run. You can't. Oh, there's
your front cover.
No, I don't want that front cover. That front cover looks like crap. It's not been molested enough.
It's too clean.
It is too clean. Here's the blower. You can't tell because we got to cut this out. We got to build a transmission mount. We need to do that before I leave for Christmas.
All right.
We got to build a transmission mount. But this is what we got so far. So what we're going to do today is we are going to finish assembling this. Now, some of you guys want the longer video, so I hope you don't mind me talking. I'm just giving you guys a full update so you know what's going on. We're going to check pushrod length on this. God, look how the springs got a little rusty.
Steel retainers?
Yeah, it's all right. We're going to check pushrod length with rocker arms and trunny upgrade. That's like the V1 trunny upgrade. They have the V2 out, so those were Johnny's rocker arms, but I just took them, and I'll then get him the V2 for his new rocker arms. And then these push rods, which are not factory length because the heads have been milled. These are 0.375 080 wall, so slap these guys in there. That seems rather high, doesn't it?
I think it'll work. It might be because
it's up right there, huh? Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll check pushrod length. You want to check pushrod length first? We'll talk to everyone about how pushrod length works.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that these are the correct push rods. We'll put the rocker stands on there and the rock arms and all that stuff. We'll talk about that. And then the rest of the setup that we got going on, I got my Super Victor intake. I got a Holley elbow and a Wilson throttle body. So with that setup right there, pow! Good to go. Look at that. Look at that touch. Oh, God, no.
5-second rule.
Everyone freaks out that we don't have a table. We have tables around, but the ground is so much more convenient. It's literally everywhere.
The traveling table.
God, this one's up too.
Double.
All right. So, Ben, talk everyone through checking pushrod length. And people have been commenting that I cut you off too much, so I'm just going to let you go.
Well, it's a very simple process. You guys got to take your old rockers here. Okay. Put them up on there. Find two that are down. Which ones you think?
I think this one. I think that one's down.
Yeah.
It's got a crank bolt in there. We could always turn it over. It is not top dead center. I can confirm that.
Yeah, let's see, these two right here are definitely down, so just gotta take and get these outer ones started so that it's all squared up. Maybe even these. Heck, well, not even these. And then you snug.
Should I pause so we can get some sockets?
Yeah, let me grab a socket. Alright, now it's all squared up. Snug that. Snug that. Maybe in this guy a little bit. A little love over here. Alright. Which ones? These.
These two.
These two. Okay. So, go to 0 lash, which is going to be the point where basically the rocker arm wants to touch down on the spring. Kind of feel it. And you measure the amount of turns it takes to get it tight from there. You want it to be in a little bit of a range. There's a range of acceptability here. So, let's still got a little lash. So right there is going to be 0-ish lash. So back it off. A little lash. Alright. So right there, we're good on both of them. And put this straight up so you can count turns here. We got 1 1/4 turns. That's perfect. That's 1 and just a hair bit over 1/4, but they'll be all right with that because these are like stock LS7 lifters, so they have like a long throw plunger in them and not like the little low leak down ones where they only move like that much. So these have like it's more of a Tempur-Pedic design.
Tempur-Pedic.
So like you lay in it and then you kind of like sink down in it, rather than like, you know,
like the rock hard bed where you hit it and that's it.
Like it's good for your spinal alignment. Like no, this thing's a rock.
So we're good.
Yeah, no, we're golden.
So the shaved heads and these rocker arms and these push rods make a happy family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they couldn't be any more happy.
Well,
no broken windows in this house.
That solves a bunch of issues.
Yep, literally works out perfect because now we don't have to go hunting no special length push rods.
That's the biggest pain in the ass, isn't it?
Oh my god.
You just gotta guess and hope you're going in the right direction.
Like, nope, 350s will work, and then you're like, nope, too long. We'll cut them down. Oh wait, that's right.
So explain to people at home, what do you do to tighten these all up?
So when you tighten them all up, normally you like to get them all started so that like all the threads are started, and then typically you go and you start with these middle two, and you kind of want to get them all. Say I'm not going to loosen those back up because there's only two. And you work from like here, 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 here. You want to smooth it out like you're putting a sticker on, like that.
So you want to work from the inside out.
You want to do everything like this, like you're trying to put a sticker on. So you put heads on, that's why you start here in the middle, and you work inside out, and from the center, top to bottom, you work out both ways equally. That's why a lot of times on heads they'll have you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, you're trying to spread it out like you're making biscuits here.
Oh, this is how Ben makes biscuits in the morning
with dough. Yeah, you know, you just MC Hammer.
But then when you tighten these up, I mean, you know, someone's going to ask, oh, we'll learn to torque.
So if you want to get really particular, 25 foot-pounds or 28 foot-pounds, I think, is like what it technically is. You'll notice these are self-aligning rockers because the pedestals, as you tighten them, see how it draws itself to, do it, please.
Oh, it's there. It is. It's going back.
There we go. So it draws itself to center.
Like this one.
So
Way off.
yeah,
Way off.
as you tighten it, it'll straighten itself out. So, but what really needs to happen is just like tight. Like you can feel it. You can feel the bolts start to yield, like right there. I mean, they're the threads. I mean, but you get it to the point where like to go any further, you'd really have to like.
You try.
You can tell it's tight, and tight is good.
Don't be that guy. Don't be ugga-dugging them to death.
Right. And then, just in case you get one that's kind of sticky that doesn't want to pull itself to the center, turn the motor over a couple revolutions. That way they go through their travel. And once they go through their travel and they've gone up and down, then you know, just kind of go back over them and just make sure you didn't miss nothing. So
these are very important to have on there. Doesn't run well with them off of there.
yeah, this is actuating your valves here, so a little bit of importance. You don't want one of these turds to come loose, or it'll cause a bunch of racket.
Lifter noise is probably the worst noise next to rod knock.
Yeah, it's like it's really.
What's it sound like?
Valve train noise is not fun, but then again, it's not the end of the world. I'd rather hear noisy valve train than I would put something in the bottom end.
No, the bottom end is just a nightmare.
Yeah, but we've really never had.
Don't say it, especially as you're putting this motor together.
Well, I'm confident.
That was a nice junkyard. This is a nice motor.
This is a prime.
It's a well put together motor for how, I mean, awful the parts we've used.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect build for any forced induction LS powered street strip race car.
Well, we got one side done. Oh, also, what we're running here, we got a ITC billet. I mean, these are like literally like $100, so everyone's doesn't break the bank. We've saved so much money, we can put that on there for $100. And this thing's gonna look mighty, mighty nice.
Yep, this thing is
Mint.
it's in mint condition.
Mint. All right, guys. I ran in the office part. Look, Ben, I found this awesome blow-off valve sitting in there, which I just need to get a flange for to put on the cold side. That's a nice one too.
Yeah, Joe Dirt.
That one is a nice one. And then I found the LS, aka small block Chevy lookalike water pump that everyone talks terrible about, which I have no problem with. Do you have any issues with it?
No, it seals up good.
So that's great as well. So, I mean, dude, we just have a slew of stuff around here. We got these on, rockers, getting our nice ITC billet plate on there. We don't have a gasket for it just yet, but we'll put one on there before we really go to party. But things are looking up around here.
Mm-hmm. We got motors together.
Should I get the Allen keys? No, I'll get the Allen key set. All right, so rocker arms are secure. Valley cover is temporarily secure. Oh, boy. Super Victor, check. Literally my favorite intake.
It works great, even late.
Favorite intake by far. Favorite intake. I mean, that looks good. We need to find some bolts to slap that guy on there. Shout out to Holly for making a classic looking elbow. Look at that. That's going to look, I will say, love Holly to death. One of my favorite companies to work with. But a Wilson billet elbow is tough to deal with. It's tough to compete with.
You know what's even better? Holly elbow with a Wilson throttle.
Wilson throttle body. God, we have a mismatch of everything. Does that fit on there? Does that have the damn Ford?
It does.
Oh, it does. We need to find some hardware.
Holly thought of us with their bolt pattern.
Yeah, they use the Ford. Wilson uses the Ford bolt pattern. By the way, Wilson manifolds. Let me get this to clear up because my autofocus sucks. Wilson manifolds right here. Yep, see the name. You go on their website. 10% off. Use John Doc, and that's also Wilson ProFlow nitrous.
Nitrous stuff.
For all you nitrous guys out there, 10% off. Code John Doc.
Bottles and all.
Your bottles and all.
Or stickers. If you're a sticker guy, you're like, I don't really want to go fast. I just like stickers. I got sweet stickers.
God, what is this? How much manifold pressure are you trying to read here?
Just trying to really boost his brakes on that brake booster.
It is the most boosted brakes.
Step up. Look, you guys just step up to a step up to a step up.
God. By the end of it, that thing is like, you tap the brakes, it locks them up.
The hole inside. Stepping it up.
The hole on the inside is absolutely puny.
It's this big.
It is puny, and then it steps up to that. God, that is insane. Does it literally go all the way through?
Oh, yeah.
No, it literally is that big. All right, we need to find some hardware to secure that to this and this to that. Oh, and you know what? Motion Raceworks, dude, we are set. Motion Raceworks sells a sweet damn bracket that goes on, I think, the back of this, and they have a throttle cable bracket.
Hardly thought of that.
Yeah, dude.
Look at that.
I love when people think of things.
Both sides.
I love when people think of things.
Look, they still out like, well, if you mount it like this, you know, then you get your throttle bracket here. And if you mount it like this, well, then you get your throttle bracket here. But Wilson thought of that too. They're like, you know what, we'll put our name on it on both places. That way, no matter how you flip it.
I just want to give a huge shout out to my boy John who sent me this. He sent me this in a nitrous plate. Now, there is question that my buddy Troy used to own these at one point, but I don't think Troy has ever owned the elbow or the nitrous plate. But John hooked it up, and we definitely appreciate that. And we're finally putting it to good use. Finally putting it to good use. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Oof. 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 Only if we were nitrous guys. Yep. Only if we were nitrous guys. God, we should stick... Oh, you know what we could do? We could stick it's a dual stage plate. We could put the plate on there and then just run the fuel right through it. Mm-hmm. That'd be way easier than running it anywhere else.
You can use both sides as fuel enrichment.
God, that'd be a whole lot of fuel enrichment.
Mm-hmm. You might make 11 or 1200 with that.
God, now you got me thinking. I gotta find that now. I know it's sitting somewhere. Oh, it's in the other shop. It's sitting on the windowsill. All right. Well, Ben's gonna get some hardware. I gotta knock out this front seal and then put a new front seal in there. And then we're gonna get the front cover mocked up. We can't get it all the way on until we put the oil pan on, and we need the pickup and windage tray for that. So we are just plugging away here. But God, this thing is looking good. All right, we don't even need to open that because we found a front cover that had a new seal on it, and then I found a front. Oh, look at this handoff. I found a front cover gasket that was just hanging up on the wall there, not in a package or anything. So I said, oh, don't mind if I do. And look what we had. Literally budget build, $0 in this. That one's got a new seal on it and it's been painted. I don't know whose that's supposed to be for, but I know whose it is. It's mine now. Here, I like to start them with the impact. So if they cross thread, I can get it really tight. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Oh, God, the paint. Dang. Chip the paint. Oh, you see the rust come out of that?
Here, you gotta be careful of the paint. Oh God.
Here, put these in.
You gotta be careful of the paint. What paint?
Hey, that's gonna look nice where my blower sits. Is that cross-threaded? It's cross-threaded. Just cross-thread them home.
You don't want cross-threaded?
Don't cross-thread it.
Oh, yeah.
God, look at how good we're doing. Flying. I need to go on the hunt for some valve covers. I bet I could find some somewhere. Like you said though, we need chrome valve covers. Yeah. We need to build the most ridiculous burn down tank on this thing.
This is gonna be a Harley Davidson of motors. All chrome.
All chrome, everything. Black leather vests that say Discount Dragon.
So you have chrome pipes, man.
All right. Hey, you put this on, and I'm going to find some valve covers for now until I order the chrome ones. I got to get it with Doug at Motion. I think they have some chrome ones. I know he has billet ones, but I'm not putting billet ones on this. But he has, he's got all the brackets and everything I was talking about before, so I'm going to get it with Doug. And if he's got a set of chrome valve covers laying around, I'll be like, hey, just, and he'll get set up to run a damn steam vent port tube thing. This is going to be like the Motion Raceworks model engine.
Like if you had, like that was the thing back, like 10 or 20 years ago. Well,
if you had a Ford F-150 with a Harley Davidson.
Well, we're getting up there, so it's actually 2019. This is like 20 years ago. There was the big fad was chrome and money green.
I know exactly what. All right, guys, here we are. Damn motor's looking good. We do need to get longer bolts here so we can run the spacer because we want more throttle response, and we do need to get hex-headed bolts. Not hex, Allen key.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Yeah. But anyways, what? What's it gonna sound like?
Hold on, let me think.
I'll give it a second. Also let it idle.
Give it a think. The whoop whoop.
Oh, but you talking about Bub Rub?
Bub Rub.
And Lil Sis?
Yeah.
The whistles?
They got that whoop whoop.
Well, I'm super stoked. I think this is going to be really fun. We were just talking, you still need to get like fuel rails and pressure regulator and all that shit, but I guess that stuff really comes together quick.
Yeah.
In the month of January, I want to be driving this thing around.
Yeah, it'll be cold. It ain't gonna start for nothing. You go in a Waffle House and come out and you have to crank that thing for like 20 minutes to get enough heat in it.
No, I'll take a damn torch on the fuel rail.
You be outside the Waffle House before you go in to eat, like with your extension cord, plug the truck up.
Alcohol on a cold day will not run well, but we're gonna give it a shot. But hey, you know what's gonna love alcohol? These piston tops are gonna be super clean. Super clean.
They'll be like a jet wash. I remember when I took mine apart, everyone's like, oh, you can see the part numbers on them now. I'm like, ha, told you they were stock.
Well, this thing should do well. We're looking to have some fun with it. We're going to put a nitrous plate up front as well, so it's going to be a nitrous plate solely for fuel. That's why I want everyone to know. We're not running nitrous on this, solely for fuel. But it's going to be badass, man. So,
God. I swear to God, man. Can't wait.
Ben loves the junkyard stuff way more than the nice stuff. The nice stuff is it's really overrated.
Yeah, it is. It's like everything gets junked up eventually, no matter how nice it is when you take it out of the box.
Yeah.
Might as well just play with it second hand or
third hand or fourth hand or 300,000 mile hand later, you know?
It's probably just second hand here, but it's a good second hand shaking. This ain't like no, hey, how you doing? This is a nice, yeah.
All right, well, guys, that's going to wrap today's video. Thank you for watching. We got the 6-liter about done. Really, all we have to do is rear cover, oil pan, pin the crank, balancer, valve covers, done.
Pin the crank.
Yeah, pin the crank.
What are we going to pin it with?
Joey's got a pin kit for it.
Is he going to pin the tail on the donkey?
Yes. It actually is one of Eeyore's nails that you hammer in there.
Phil couldn't believe that one of the in a 400. This is for real. I'm not joking. Like one of the things that holds like part of the parking, like not the parking thing, the gear selector is like a nail from the factory. Like literally, it's a nail. They stick a nail in there and they bend it. And you look at it and you're like, that's a drywall nail. If you look at like a factory 400, that's one of the parts that holds the gear selector.
I wonder what it says on the parts list. Drywall nail dash bent.
It says nail. I've seen it. Because there was a guy posting on some forum and like, I can't believe a transmission builder put a nail in my transmission. And they're like, some guy put up a picture like a parts breakdown from like 1968.
It says nail.
Nail.
Hey, if it works, don't fix it.